very, very warm good evening to everybody, especially to our panelists who have taken out this time from their very, very busy schedules. And I can vouch for that. Plus, I'm very grateful to all the audience that is here because we are here to actually discuss a very, very burning topic, a topic that people sometimes feel they know a lot about, others feel they know nothing about it, and there are still others who are completely ignorant of what is right, what is wrong. And ever since this, earlier, of course, we were discussing about the virus. Everything is about the coronavirus. And today we are talking about everything antivirus, which is the vaccine. And others are, of course, welcome to put their questions on the chat box, which I could take for you. So I'm handing over the mic.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. Well, Dr. Saha was actually going to do this presentation, but unfortunately, he's having technical issues, so I'm just going to quickly start. But this is a quick, this is basically a quick upload on about the vaccines, some basic facts about the vaccines, and some basic details about them, and what are the strengths and weaknesses of either vaccine. So hopefully this should be able to answer about 80 to 90% of your questions. And you know what? If you have any questions, doubts, concerns, or you just want to ask the same thing again, don't worry about it, okay? So Abhishek, can we just get the slide going? We are, as you all know, and I guess that's the reason why some of you are here, we are experiencing a massive surge and a massive spike in the total number of cases of COVID-19, right? And the question is now, what do we do with vaccines? Well, simply, if you want to control this, there are two strategies you have to do. One is stop partying, stop heading out, stop hanging out with other people, wear all your masks, do your social distancing right. Two, get all eligible people vaccinated. Because as you can imagine, vaccines work. The 70%, 80%, that's a big number. If you can stop 80% of patients coming into the hospital, that's 80% of less people who are going to fall really, really sick and fall ill. What are you looking at? These numbers over here say what percentage of the total testing that is being done in every area is RT-PCR. But we'll move on to our next slide, please. Abhish, perfect. And as you can see, the more that you get vaccinated, the less positive cases that you're going to have. So this will become really, really important later on. States that are seeing a really high surge, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Delhi, their vaccination coverage is less. Whereas the Chhattisgarh and Gujarat are seeing a surge, and they have responded by being very, very aggressive with their vaccination, trying to get to the numbers. The highest state that we currently have is Kerala, which is at 5.5%. They are really not seeing a very big spike, but what they are seeing is a slow, constant rate of cases. Next slide, please. This is just a map of how cases have been turning up in India. And as you can see, Maharashtra is almost 50% of the cases that we are currently seeing across the country. But this does not mean we are not surging across the country. Everywhere is surging. Delhi is almost 30 times the number that it was on the 1st of February. Calcutta is more than 20 times the number. We are currently 2,000 cases in West Bengal as of yesterday. 4 weeks ago, that number was basically 100, 120, 130. So we have seen more than 100% or 1,800% increase in the number of cases even in Bengal. So don't get fooled. Maharashtra has a lot of cases, but remember, they also have a lot of hospitals, a lot of big cities. They have the capacity to treat a lot of patients. If we see that sort of numbers in West Bengal, we just don't have that healthcare capacity in this state. So let's move on to our next slide. So as you can see, we are now spiking in, this is a little old data. This is from March 23rd. But as you can see, the rate at which the cases have been increasing and suddenly spiking up, right? And we are already past our previous high. And trust us, if this is your number of cases is 3 or 4 day old data. People who get sick today actually got infected 4 days ago. So even if you start to do something now, it'll take a minimum of 3 to 4 days before the numbers start to taper. I don't start to taper off, not taper off, start slowing down. So we need to act now. In fact, we needed to act yesterday. And I'm sure all of you, including some of us, are guilty not wearing masks, going to parties, not following social distancing. And at this rate, this just has to stop. Next slide, please. Vaccination is slowly being increasing. As of today, we have now vaccinated about 81 million people in this country, and that is a massive number. No small feat. But in our country, if you were the USA, that's like 25 to 30% of your population. But we are not USA. We are 4 times the population of USA. In our country, that's like 7% of our population has been vaccinated. So this is going to take some time. Next slide. Nobody is 100% safe of the vaccine, right? So this is not going to happen. Next slide. So these are the steps that you take to get to a vaccine and how to basically do your trials. It explains why it takes time for a vaccine to get into market. Traditionally, vaccines take about 8 to 10 years at a minimum, from discovering the drug to discovering vaccine, the virus, to figuring out how to make a vaccine against it and then actually getting it to market. Remember, these vaccines have been rushed into production. And despite that, these are incredibly safe vaccines. More than 80-90% efficacious and remarkably safe. To give an example how safe you are more safe taking the vaccine than you are getting into a car, driving to the hospital and driving back from the hospital and having a road traffic accident. The chance of you having a road traffic accident and getting injured is higher than the chance of getting an injury from vaccine. That is how safe these vaccines are. Next slide, please. Next slide. So coming to the meat of the substance, right? Let us start with our vaccines. So this is what Covishield is. It is a chimpanzee vaccine that cannot replicate. Means if I give you 5 million chimpanzee vaccine viruses, that is all that will go into your body, nothing more. Also, what the smart scientists at Oxford have done is that in a chimpanzee vaccine, in a chimpanzee virus, they put the SARS gene into it. So it fools the body into thinking that there's a SARS infection going on in your body, that is a COVID infection going on in your body, and the body starts to make antibodies against this SARS or your COVID virus, which is what prevents you from getting COVID or reduces the likelihood you will get COVID in the future. Next slide. What is Covaxin? They basically took COVID virus and they killed it. And then that killed virus, they injected into your body. So these viruses are dead. They cannot replicate. They cannot give you COVID again. But what they can do is it trains your body to recognize these proteins and how to treat it and how to defend against it. Next slide, please. So Covishield is the first one on the left, the viral vector, right? That is Covishield. And Covaxin is the one in the middle. What you see, whole virus, that is what Covaxin is. So that is how these two different ones work. Next slide. This is a little bit of a technical slide, not meant for general public, meant more for doctors. So basically what these chemicals do is that the immune system boosters, when you inject it into the area, they're called adjuvant. What they do is they boost your local immune system response in the area. It is these chemicals, when you get the virus, you get a little bit of pain, maybe a little bit of tenderness. We'd ask you not to lift up too many heavy weights. These chemicals over there do that. So in order to let your body know, hey, there's a virus over here, come and attack it. It's basically training your body and telling your body, come to this area and attack this foreign thing that has been injected over here. Next slide. So there are a lot of words, but what it means there is a specific protein on the COVID virus called the spike protein, and that is what causes damage to cells. It is the part that attaches to the cell, attacks the cell, and gets into the cell and causes COVID-19. Covishield Covishield trains your immune system to defend against this specific protein. If you can defend against this specific protein, then you basically cannot get COVID-19. Next slide. Covaxin is a full dead virus. It is just goes into the body. We put in some additional chemicals in the injection to tell your body, hey, foreign virus over here, come and attack it. And as a result of that, your body cells come up over there, your immune system turns up over there, says, hey, what is this virus? Oh, it's dead, but it looks like it has certain proteins that could be dangerous. Let me develop a defense against this. And that is what that does. But as compared to Covishield, which only has one protein to train the immune system, Covaxin has up to 29 proteins on it, all belonging to the COVID-19 virus, which it trains the body how to stop all 29 proteins and not just one protein. Next slide. So, simple. How do you take it? Covishield was originally studied to take two doses, 0.5 ml each dose in the deltoid, that is your big muscle, you know, the one that makes your shoulder round in shape, the one that makes Arnold Schwarzenegger look really bulky and muscular. You take it in that muscle, 0.5 ml, about 4 weeks apart was the original recommendation. With that, Covishield was studied. But sometime during the studies and in real life, they noticed because UK, there was a severe vaccine shortage. So the government decided to give the vaccine after a little bit of a gap. And they found that Covishield worked better if you delayed the dose, but not more than 12 weeks. In India, the current recommendation is to give the second dose of Covishield about 6 to 8 weeks after the first dose. Covaxin has been studied in two doses, 4 weeks apart, given in the same place, the deltoid muscle, and there has been no change in the Covaxin recommendation for how to do it. Next slide. So, Covishield, if you take it when two doses about 4 weeks apart, it works at an efficiency of 70% for mild disease, but 100% for moderate and severe disease. I'm sure Dr. Amitabh Saha will agree with me. We see patients in the hospital, not one of them who has received Covaxin or Covishield has been severe, has had severe COVID-19 in the hospital. Or for a matter, even moderate. Not one of them is on oxygen. They might have a little bit, they might feel a little unwell, they'll have a little bit of fever, they'll have a little bit of a cough, and they all get better. But people who have not taken the vaccine, those are all the people who are on the ventilator, on oxygen, on machines, feeling very, very sick. Similarly, Covaxin phase 3 data shows 81% effectiveness when taken 4 weeks apart. Next slide. So these are a bunch of other vaccines. These are more technical on how to store them. You all don't have to worry about it. That's our headache to make sure the vaccine works. Next slide. How effective is your vaccine? And look at your historical controls and look at what we have made now. And I think really, really kudos to all the scientists who have worked really, really hard over the past few years to get this to work. Moderna vaccine, 94% effective. Pfizer vaccine, 95% effective. AstraZeneca, they've said 70% here, but up to 86% effective if given 12 weeks apart. Whereas the flu vaccine, which we take every year right now, which is a current recommendation, only 44% effective. Next slide. So a lot of people are asking, does this work against the other variants? So far, it seems like yes. The UK variant is the variant that is most predominant in India right now. And UK data shows that AstraZeneca, both Covaxin and Covishield, so AstraZeneca vaccine, that's Covishield, and the Bharat Biotech vaccine, Covaxin, are both effective. The South Africa variant and the Brazil variant, we just don't know because our vaccines have not been widely distributed or injected in those areas. So that study data is still pending. Next slide. These are a little bit of the side effects that you're going to get. Most of them are going to go with body ache, body pain, a little bit of fever. But remember, as long as it's just a mild fever, a little bit of ache, a little bit of muscle ache, muscle weakness, these are good things. It means your immune system has recognized the virus and is attacking the virus, and your immune system has been activated. So, a little bit of symptoms is okay. What we are worried about are the more severe symptoms: difficulty breathing, difficulty breathing, not, difficulty with standing up, getting lightheaded, your head spinning. These are a little bit more severe. But mild symptoms, we actually are like, okay, that's good. Don't worry about it. Take a Crocin, you will feel much better. Next slide. The only real issue is if you have a history of allergic reactions to vaccines. Always let your doctor know, and he will ask a few more detailed questions that, okay, you have an allergy. What do you have an allergy to? Which vaccine do you have allergies to? So then he can look at the ingredients in that vaccine and see if there's anything common with any of these two vaccines. But then again, just because you're allergic to, for example, influenza vaccine does not mean you have an allergic reaction to Covishield. But we will be aware, and we will be slightly more careful, and we will be slightly more cautious, and we will monitor you more closely. Next slide. People who, as of right now, cannot take the vaccine, unfortunately, neither the vaccines have been tested on people who are immunocompromised. That means people who do not have functional immune systems or immune system that works poorly. In pregnant and breastfeeding mothers, if you have received another COVID vaccine or any other serious health issue. But the health issues are rare that prevent you from getting a vaccine. There is some data coming out that it could be safe for pregnant and breastfeeding mothers to get certain vaccines, but this has not become a full-blown indication yet. This is still in the testing phase. Next slide. Thank you so much, everyone. I will now hand over to Dr. Amitabha Saha to answer your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Roy. Thank you so much. That was a very detailed presentation, and I think a lot of questions that are coming in have already been addressed. However, before we move any further, I would like to thank the Rotary Club of Calcutta Vienna, who stepped in as an associate partner for this program. Associating with Rotary always helps because it gives us a larger platform, and not many people join in, and the awareness spreads. So thank you so much, Rotary Club of Calcutta Vienna. And Dr. Saha, there are some questions that have come in. So if you could take... Exactly.
So you can... I am looking at it. Thank you, Oviral, for nice presentations in any way. And I hope a lot of questions are there which have already been addressed by Oviral. The first question by Mr. Norris, the volume problem. Oh, this is probably the volume for the presentation, right? Yeah. Okay, leave it. The next question is we got Covishield vaccination at your hospital on 13th March. So when you should get a second shot? So as it has been addressed, from the first shot, it would be the 6 to 8 weeks. So in between. So you contact with the hospital and take the appointment for that, and you take it in the 6 weeks to 8 weeks from the first dose. So the next question is, I am a heart patient. I have got angioplasty in 2003. At present, I am taking medicines, Diplat, Astor. Should I take vaccine or not? If yes, then which vaccines, Covishield or Covaxin? So as per the company recommendations, there should not be any problem with you as per the Diplat and Astor you are taking. Sometimes for the Covaxins, they have been advised to stop the Diplat, but I would suggest you, if you have certain problems, you please consult with the cardiologist first, whether you can be stopped with the Diplat or not. If it not, then probably it would be better to take the Covishield rather than the Covaxins. The next question is, why was Covishield banned in 10 European countries? Yes, there are certain concerns that has been raised in European countries related to the thrombosis. And we are not yet sure, because in our India, we really do not have any documented side effects, which is actually been come up scientifically after getting so much of vaccinations in country. So I strongly feel and believe that the Covishield which we have and the Covaxin which we have, both are very good vaccines that we have, and we can straightway go forward without seeing anywhere in the world. Let the European countries to come up with the concrete documents and the data why they are suffering or panicking with the Covishield. Is still
I
yet
just want
not
to
being
answer
approved.
something to that as well. I want to add something to that part as well.
Yeah, please.
So the blood clot issue that they're facing in Europe with the Covishield of the AstraZeneca vaccine, they sell as AstraZeneca. In India, we call it Covishield. Remember, they gave 30 million doses. They had 44 cases. So basically, that works out to around 1 in 8 lakh people get a blood clot in the brain. Not a fatal blood clot, but they tend to get a blood clot in the brain. That is okay. So that's 1 in 8 lakh. Getting it, so does that mean you will not take the vaccine? No, because the alternative is getting COVID-19, and COVID-19 in India right now has a death rate of 1.5%. Means if 100 people, if 200 people get COVID-19, 3 people will die. You can see the big difference in rates. So let that not be the concern that, oh my God, if I take this vaccine, I'm going to get a blood clot in the brain. No, the concern should be if I don't take a vaccine and I get COVID-19, there's a 2% chance I will not make it out of there. And this 2% is including of all age groups from 3 days old to 99 years old. If you're over the age of 60 and you get COVID, your mortality rate is as high as 10%. 10% of people over the age of 60, if they get COVID, they will not make it. So, you know, understanding this statistic is really important. The chance of what might happen. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, Viral, for adding points to it. The next question, I have been lethargic and having slight dizziness. Is there any reason for concern? I'm not sure you are lethargic and slight dizziness. You are feeling dizziness after taking vaccines or before. If it is after taking vaccine, it's good. Don't be worried. It will be go by next 48 hours. The next question is, my mother is 50 plus and has very high fluctuating blood pressures. The general physician is recommending taking the vaccines. Once the BP stabilizes, just want to check if there is a best way to ahead and she takes the vaccine right away. What could be the more unusual side effects? Vishaka, I would suggest you, because as she is around 50 and having the fluctuating BP, I'm not sure whether there is any underlying cause which is causing the BP to be fluctuated. But it's always better to stabilize the BP first, because there are certain diseases which cause the BP to be fluctuate. But per se, there is no contraindications of having a fluctuating BP, and I also don't know that what the amount of fluctuations of the BP that your mother has. But having said that, it would always be better if it is very fluctuating. Like there are some certain conditions like the pheochromocytoma, which may happen in this age group. So if it is so, it would be better to address that one first before taking the vaccine. But if it is the fluctuations of BP, like because at your mother is, there is area where the patient or female patient usually suffer from some postmenopausal syndrome. So that also can cause a little bit of BP fluctuation. If it is so, there is no contraindications of taking any vaccines at my present point. So please check with your doctors, and I don't feel that if there is a massive fluctuations, there is no contraindication per se.
The next question is from Vijayanti. Welcome to the show, Vijayanti. So happy to have you on board. And she wants to know whether you can take antacids and P650 after vaccine if you're running fever and gastric symptoms.
Yeah, sure, you can take it. And it is also recommended to take a paracetamol if you have feeling some feverish or body ache. So it will always help. And usually we have seen for last so many months after rolling out of the vaccines that paracetamol is actually taking care nicely for most of the patients who are taking vaccines.
I think Mr. Sanjay Biswas wants to know, I had allergy in rabiprazole and domperidone about 7 years back. So can he take Covaxin? Mr. Sanjay Biswas wants to know, he had allergy to these two medicines that he mentioned 7 years ago, rabiprazole and domperidone about 7 years back. Can he take Covaxin?
Yeah, as such, there should not be any problem. And the company, vaccine company doesn't give these two medications for the contraindications for vaccines. So I hope there should not be any problem, but whenever in the center where you are taking the vaccines, please let them inform that what the allergies that you have, so they can be ready if there is any allergic reactions, but I am sure nothing will happen with it.
Okay. Srabani wants to know whether pregnant ladies can take the vaccine.
Yes, there is a concern. Dr. Obiral, do you take this question?
Yes, so as of right now, the answer is no. We do not have sufficient data whether it's safe in pregnant women or not. Some studies have been done regarding other vaccines, such as the Pfizer vaccine, and that is still, the final results is still pending, but no studies have been done with our Covishield yet.
So it's better to continue it without the vaccines, at least for the time for the pregnancy and the immediate post-pregnancy breastfeeding time.
This question, I think we have answered already, which is better, Covishield or Covaxin. Would you like to address it again?
At the time of presentations that we have said that Covishield, the two vaccines are a little bit different on the ground of how they have developed. Now, one have developed against the spike proteins, and there is a chances of having the mutation of the spike proteins. And the second virus, the vaccines has been actually developed on the total 23 proteins, core proteins of the viruses has. So if we look at very closely, probably the protein content as the Covaxin has, it will probably give a better understanding of our immune system about the viruses rather than when you are considering only the spike proteins. So if you keep these two vaccines side by side, both are good to keep our immune system ready. But per se, if we look at scientifically, probably the Covaxin score a little higher rather than Covishield. If there is a mutations in the spike protein, there is a possibility that the patient may have infections. But having said that, always, even if there is infections, it will always be a very mild form, and those patients will not go in a severe form, because in this second wave, when we are treating the patients, plenty of patients in our hospital, most of the patients who are suffering from mild and moderate, they are all vaccinated. At least they got the one vaccine shot. So it is very important to get yourself vaccinated at the earliest. If there is no real contraindications, whatever the vaccines you have, Covishield or Covaxin. So even if you have got disease, you will be in a mild or moderate form. So you will not lose your life.
Exactly. So Shubhra Biswas wants to know, the patient is having varicose veins problem from July 20 to November 20. Patient has taken exoaspirin 60 injection and warfarin 4 mg. Nowadays is but on medication. Can the patient take vaccine, and which vaccine? Covishield or Covaxin?
Yes, she can take the vaccines. Just before taking the vaccines, I would advise to check the INR, because he is on the warfarin, because if the INR is high, there is a possibility of having intramuscular hemorrhage due to the injection itself. But I would suggest, and I would also suggest, to give the Covishield rather than the Covaxin.
Okay, Covishield. Okay. Mr. Tarun Mitra wants to know that he's suffering from rhinitis allergy and sinus problem. Should I take the vaccine?
Yeah, sure. He is the good candidate and the best candidate to have the vaccine early.
The vaccine, right. Somebody wants to know, my father, aged 77 years, is taking Clopidogrel 75 as per cardiologist's advice. Is it necessary to stop the medicine before and after the vaccine? If so, then why is it necessary to stop? Blood thinners.
No, for the Covishield, there is no need for stopping these medicines. For the Covaxin, yes, they are recommended to stop in and around of the time of taking vaccines. So you can stop at least for 5 days back, and you can restart again after 2 to 3 days. But if he is allowed to take the Covishield, there is no need of stopping this medicine.
The next question is a very important one. A lot of people are really concerned about this particular one, whether they can take alcohol after the vaccine, and if not, why not?
Yeah, regarding the alcohol, yes. See, alcohol is not a real problem with the vaccines. The only problem with alcohol is the immune system, because what we are trying to put in the vaccine jab is actually just to activate our immune system. So if we really put our immune system down by taking the alcohol, probably we will not get the benefit of taking the vaccine. So that's why it is not recommended to have vaccines And please stay away from the vaccines for at least 45 days of taking the first shot.
Right, right. So Manas Barua says, aged 51, hepatitis B, liver problem, having 10 of COVID, 300 daily, COVID positive in August 2020. Can I be vaccinated?
When he was actually been positive in 2020, which month?
In August 2020.
Yeah, he can take it. No problem.
Okay, no problem. Sir, my husband has food allergy with wheat products. Can he take the vaccine? If so, which one?
So I have given, actually, I have 2-3 patients of mine who has been very, very allergic. And most of the time they have developed the allergic asthma as well. So what I did for these 2-3 patients, I have started the anti-allergic at least 2-3 days before taking the date of the vaccinations, and continue at least 7 days after the vaccination. So you can also follow that one. But having said that, this is not recommendations, that it is my own practice. You can also do that. There is no harm of taking anti-allergy with the vaccines.
So Surendra is asking whether he should take both the vaccines for complete protection.
Complete protection, yes. These things, actually, we are also discussing whether the complete dose of Covishield, because all the health worker we are taking Covishield, as that time the Covaxin was not available. And we are also thinking of taking a single shot of Covaxin, but there is no till now recommendations. So if any recommendation comes in future, we'll definitely let you know to have the full
today at work, my colleague wanted to know whether he can take Covishield on one arm and the Covaxin in the other arm.
Yeah.
So, okay, Sheila Janki Ram. Hi, Sheila. She wants to know, are there any chances of getting COVID after getting the second jab?
Yeah, that you can have. What we are actually repeatedly saying, that the vaccine is not 100% protective. So even if you have the infections after having vaccines, definitely it will be on the mild or the moderate. So you can enjoy if you have a mild with your quarantine time at home with the Netflix and others. And if you are moderate, you might need for the hospitalizations, but at what? So I think you can avoid the ICU.
So I think this is important to understand, right? Immunity is not invincibility, right? Just because you've taken the vaccine does not make you 100%. You're not He-Man, you're not Superman. Superman still has kryptonite, that'll hurt him. And remember, the vaccine can still get through. A vaccine boosts your immune system, but it also depends on your immune system's ability to fight it off. You know, it's like training. But when it comes to war, it also then depends on how good your soldiers are. You can train them as much as you want, but if the soldiers are not good, it's not going to work. So continue to use all your precautions. Wear your masks, social distancing, avoid parties, avoid crowded public spaces, avoid crowded anything for that matter, till you can get this current spike under control. Just because you've had the vaccine, don't think you can just go without a mask into a bus full of 90 other people. You're going to get sick. It doesn't matter. You'll get less sick, but you'll still get sick.
Yeah, continuation with Ovidal, I would also suggest, because for last at least couple of weeks, we are getting a plenty of patients who has been infected at a group, and all of them have a history of having either party or some birthday party, or they have gathered in the hotel. So please do not do that. Please do not do that. The time has not till yet come. So please do maintain and all COVID protections.
Okay. S. Arunachalam has a question. Can Medica administer vaccine at the doorstep of senior citizens? In fact, this was something raised to me as well by a friend whose father cannot come to the hospital. So what can we do for those people who cannot, come to the doorstep of the hospital? Can hospital go to them?
So luckily, we just got an announcement by the government today that we can now do workplace vaccination. That means either go to the workplace or to multiple high-rise buildings where we can set up a vaccination center. This will probably go live from the 11th of April. We are currently working out the modalities and the techniques and the protocols to how to do it, where to do it, and where we can get permission. On the 11th of April onwards, once we figure out how to do this, we will be able to now give vaccines in certain workplaces and certain high volume centers. That is currently being worked upon, and each private and government center is figuring out its area of responsibility.
Dr. Roy, I have a related question here. If, see, when the person comes to the hospital, we monitor the patient for about half an hour for
Yes.
any adverse reactions. So how does it work when we take the vaccine to their doorstep? What happens to the monitoring?
So it may not necessarily be doorstep to doorstep. What will probably be, suppose if you live in a large housing complex, or if you're working in a large office or a large factory, an area will be designated, which is like an observation room, and will basically set up a vaccination center. People will come down of the house to maybe the lobby or to the local room where we are vaccinating, and there'll be an area over there which will have all the drugs, all the medication, all the equipment. So in case if we will not be going door to door. We will not be doing doorstep literally.
No,
but
I meant the complexes, yes.
Yes.
That's very reassuring. In fact, I got 3 calls after the news in the papers today that how would you monitor those patients? Okay, Shubhra Biswas wants to know what is IBAR Sinar?
Not sure.
Can you get that? Yeah, I'm not sure about that question either. Can we take both vaccines has already been answered. I have wheezing issues during winter and onset of spring. I take inhalers. When summer comes, I'm okay. Is it safe for me to get vaccinated?
Yeah, absolutely safe. You can take it.
I would say he's a prime person because he's already has lung problems. He should be first in line as far as possible.
Absolutely.
He meets criteria, then because they already have weak lungs to begin with.
Completely. Mr. Pradeep wants to know whether vaccination is required in cases of recovered patients as their body already recognizes the protein.
No, basically, this is very important to understand that the antibody that we are developing after the infections, it is not 100% for all the patients suffering from COVID. There are plenty of patients who doesn't develop the detected antibody as well, number one. The second thing, even if someone develops the antibody that doesn't stay for beyond 6 months, it has been proved across the world in a different scientific studies. So it's always better because we also don't know whether these vaccines, what we have already taken, we probably need to take again after 8 months to 1 year. So even if somebody gets infected in some point of time with the COVID, it is always prudent to take the vaccines because the antibody or the immune system which is being learned by these viruses may not be able to give a full protection against the further new infections. Because as I am just sharing one information that the reinfection rate, which is already 1%, has been detected by the ICMR. And the definitions that they have made that any patient who get infected with the COVID may reinfected within 102 days. And if it is so, then it is called the reinfection. So any persons, even after just 3 months, get infected again. So it's always better to take and it is mandatory to take the vaccines according to the protocols that's been set by the government.
Sir, I'm sure you know, sir, because I know you have some patients and I also do. People who already got COVID 6 to 8 months ago, some people last year, July, I have one patient who had COVID last October, who has tested positive again. And not like mildly positive, like strongly positive. So, and these are young people, 24-year-olds, 30-year-olds. So, just because you've had COVID once does not mean, the immunity is persistent and lasts 2-3 years. So yes, the simple answer is if you are eligible for the vaccine, take your vaccine.
Please take it.
It doesn't matter if you've had COVID or not. Both Dr. Saha and I have had COVID. We have both taken our vaccines.
Yes.
Right. Mr. Rajgaria wants to know he'd taken his first dose on 3rd of March. Can I take the second dose on 10th April, 40 days apart?
Yeah.
Especially if it was Covishield.
It is 6 to 8 weeks, but Covaxin, please do maintain the time protocol of 4 weeks.
4 to 6 weeks. Right.
Yeah, 4.
Mr. Rakesh Khanna, after taking the first dose of Covishield, after 7 days, he had COVID and he was moved to a nursing home where he was administered remdesivir. I'm a COPD patient. Any advice?
So here there is some concern because 2 questions. One, whether this patient needs a second jab. And if it is yes, when? So our concern is number one, as he has been infected. So probably after getting the vaccinations, there will be a booster within 7 days. So booster within 7 days by the true infections probably will not boost up the immune system, which would have been actually boosted if the second dose would have been taken after 4 to 6 weeks. So for him, if he is fine, I would suggest to wait for another few weeks before taking the second dose, because the second dose we can take up to 3 months. So the second dose would be taken up to after 3 months of the first dose. That will not harm, probably will boost the immune system.
That's what I've also been recommending to my patients, sir. That if they've gotten COVID-19 after their first shot, to wait at least 6 weeks after they complete their quarantine before taking the next dose.
Yes,
because think of it like this: you've already gotten your booster in the form of true virus or a live virus instead of dead virus that you would have gotten through an injection.
Yes, absolutely.
Shravani has another question, that if somebody gets side effects after the first dose, is there a possibility of getting it in the second dose? We all know that she's a very nervous person, so I guess
what side effects actually she had?
She just had fever or fever, and she had some temperature. Dr. Saha, you know her.
No, she told me that it went absolutely perfect.
So the good news is most people who have reactions have good immunity, and it's usually young women and young adults who tend to have reactions like this.
Yeah, the more reactions.
If you're having a reaction, it means that the immune system is still young.
And it is working.
And it is working, exactly.
So, Shravani, you can relax on that count, please. Next question from Rotarian Rakesh Bhatia. He's asking, they say after the first shot, if you're attacked by COVID virus, you need not take the second dose. What happens if you've already suffered COVID, then do we need to take the second shot, or vice versa?
Yeah, this is the last question we have already answered. So it's better to take the second shot after waiting for another 4 to 6 weeks.
Nilanjan Mandal says, for the new strain, is there any new vaccine coming?
Yeah, there are some vaccines which are in the panel. So probably I feel by next 6 to 8 months, probably we will have the 2 to 3 more vaccines which will be available in our market.
Okay.
Hopefully we should get some vaccines which are needleless. There is a vaccine coming out by Zydus Cadila, which is does not need needles. That's an intradermal vaccine. Which if you have seen this, any science fiction show, they just spray medicine into your skin. It is a similar way. Then there's another vaccine coming up by Bharat Biotech, which is an intranasal vaccine, where they just spray the virus into your nose and you develop immunity. So those are 2 vaccines that we're really looking forward to, because they'll really decrease this. People get scared of injections and don't come. So this should really help deal with that. And with the intranasal vaccine coming out, that should also help control spread of corona, because there's no evidence that current vaccines stop spread of corona. They might prevent you from getting sick, but that still might mean you can still spread it. So we're really excited about these new variants of vaccines coming out.
That really sounds good. Sahili wants to know the total Ig level of my mother-in-law is 1386. I want to know whether she can be vaccinated.
So she can be vaccinated provided she is on some anti-allergy. So please do start the anti-allergic before taking the vaccines, and she can take the vaccines and continue the anti-allergic for at least 48 to 72 hours after taking the vaccines.
Okay. Reena Malpani, in states, they are giving COVID vaccine in second trimester pregnancy. In India, is it possible?
No, as of now, we do not have any recommendations of taking the vaccines in pregnancy that we discussed just.
So the states is using the the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine primarily. These are mRNA vaccines, which are a different technology to how our vaccines work, and they're still in trial phase. So there's no official recommendation in India about giving pregnant or, for that matter, breastfeeding mothers vaccines. And this is the same recommendation that exists in Europe as well.
Another thing that I want to share with this pregnant lady is probably for the previous year, whatever the pregnant patients who got COVID, most of them have a mild COVID, and we hardly lost any baby. So be in peace. I am sure that nothing will happen to you. and you will come up with a beautiful baby.
Right. Mr. Naresh is talking about a friend of his who got the first shot on the 17th. He got fever. 2 days later, he was diagnosed with COVID, admitted to a hospital, but he passed away after 12 days. Does it mean he had COVID before taking the jab, or was the timing wrong?
No, probably the COVID was there because see, all the viruses once it get attached with our mucus in the nasal mucosa or the oral mucosa, it takes a little bit time, which we call the incubation period. So every diseases they have an incubation period. So basically, the COVID, once you get exposed to the COVID virus, it usually takes 3 to 7 days time to develop. So definitely, these patients had a COVID infections beforehand, and which was in an incubation period, and then they develop the infections, because taking a vaccine doesn't give you any protections on the day of protection, giving the vaccine. So it actually start giving the protections only after 42 days of taking the first jab. So you need to wait for at least 4 to 6 weeks before after taking the first jab of vaccines.
Okay. Thank you. If someone is currently positive, can they take the vaccine? If not, how long should they wait?
I think
No.
I answered this question. Normally, if they're currently positive, we ask them to wait 6 weeks after the quarantine period has ended.
Okay. Pooja Tandon. Hi, Pooja. She wants to know, can my mother, who is 82 years old, has moderate asthma, take the vaccine?
Has moderate what?
Asthma.
Asthma.
Yeah. These are so her mother is basically a very potential candidate to have and very high risk patient for having the COVID. So she must take it.
Thank you. Shukti, thank you. She's saying thank you, doctors, for being superheroes. Stay blessed. Thank you, Medica. Thank you, Shukti, for those words of encouragement. Shubhra Biswas again wants to ask if, sir, you have advice for varicose veins patient should test INR. What is INR? Okay, INR. Okay.
This is actually the blood test. Is the we check with the INR is how the blood is thin. So if there is sometimes it happens, we usually keeping, if the patient is on warfarin for the different indications, we keep the INR between 2 to 4.5. Right. So the more the value, the more the blood is thin. So there is a chance of having any hematoma or any bleeding inside the muscles whenever we pricking the needle inside the deltoid muscles. So the patients who are on blood thinner, especially the anticoagulant, we always check the INR, and always, most of the time we try to avoid any intramuscular injections. Usually we give the intravenous, but for this vaccine we need to give the intramuscular. So it's better to check the INR before.
Right. Uma Arun has a question. I'm allergic to aspirin. Can I take the vaccine?
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Okay. Vijanti wants to know, my father-in-law is a kidney transplant patient and has taken Covishield. He is feeling very weak still. Second dose over 10 days back. Any advice?
No, usually after the vaccinations, there is no report as of yet. At least we have not reported any patient or any people who has received the vaccines and having a very prolonged codon. So as he is suffering from some kidney disease, I would suggest to check the other things before putting the blame on the vaccines. So if it is not so, then probably we need to think about it.
Right.
But I would suggest to go for the other things to check with the nephrologist.
When will vaccination be open to youngsters like college-going kids, as many colleges have called students back to the campus, thus increasing the risk?
So, ma'am, I think your mic was a little off, but I'll
answer. Sorry. Yeah. They want to know when the vaccination will be open for younger college students.
So, to quote what the health minister said today, or maybe yesterday, the vaccine is really needed for people who need it and not for people who want it. Yes, there is of course risk in college students, but most young people, if they get sick, recover well. That is not true for older adults, which is why we are really pushing in this country, where we might have 400, 500 million doses, but that's only 40% of the population. So we need to get our high risk population vaccinated first. Comorbidities, age greater than 45. These are people who get severe COVID, and even if they recover, have severe weakness, persistent lung problems. Younger people, when they more tend to spread the COVID more than actually get sick. So they tend to have more asymptomatic disease. So I think it's more
Right.
important for them to be wearing masks and not partying and not doing their holy parties. I know a family where 14 of them turned up at a party, 12 of them are positive.
Yeah, yeah. But government is per se is actually trying to protect the working population as well. So I strongly believe by next 3 to 4 months time, probably the government will, after covering these high risk populations, government will definitely think of giving the vaccinations to start from 30. So we have a maximum populations. If we look at our demography, the most of the people are at the age group of 22 to 40. So probably the government will take steps in next 2-3 months if they can actually cover this high risk group by these 2-3 months.
I think the next question has already been answered. Covaxin, the dose should be taken. I think Dr. Saha, you've said between 4 to 6 weeks. So yeah, Mr. Surendra is thanking for the very super session, very much needed. Regards to doctor and team. Shrabani again has a question. There was a video a few weeks back asking everyone to take vaccination by keeping CRP count below 1. How far is it correct?
We don't
Here,
ever
other
check
questions before and to me. We do not have any information about it.
Okay.
Please don't listen to WhatsApp University. Half of the thing is garbage over there by people who've got nothing better to do, sitting at home and making stuff up. Listen to your doctor, okay? Don't listen to WhatsApp University. Please. I've seen stuff on WhatsApp, and some of it is just blatantly untrue. Right? And don't believe it at all. I'm sure it's speaking to your biases, but don't bother with that stuff. If you have a doubt, come ask your doctor. Most of us are on a phone call. We have an appointment. Come and ask us. More like CRP. Who checks your CRP? When was the last time anybody got their CRP level ever tested? Instead, if you want to test something, check your cholesterol and your sugar level. Don't bother with CRP.
Right. So I think we've answered the question about which is the better vaccine, Covaxin or Covishield, so we can avoid that one. There are few questions on the other side. I can see one is, I'm a hepatitis B patient having liver. No, we've gone through this almost, yes. The doctor, as we know, virus mutates and this time strain is stronger. What is lined up after the second vaccination? If stronger strain comes, will third injection be required?
No, as of now, there is no further injection. No further injection is required actually. Only it been recorded. Definitely some recommendations will come. Either it would be after 8 months or would be after a year. And the virus strain is very serious and they are actually stronger and they infect the people. But the severity per se till now, what our perception is probably not so. So once you get vaccinated, every time, everywhere, every people are saying that if anyone who get vaccinated against the COVID, even if they got infected, if get infected with the vaccines, probably they have the mild to moderate disease. So it's better to get vaccinated and wait till the further recommendations comes for the next dose.
Okay.
Agreed. There is some data that Pfizer is currently looking at changing and seeing if you need a third dose or not. The simple answer is the vaccine is too new. The only way to know how long immunity lasts is to wait that long.
Wait, absolutely.
Vaccinations have only been around for 4 or 5 months now. We do not know how long vaccination lasts, and we basically need to wait and see how long before people who got the first doses of vaccine start developing severe disease. Once people who got the first doses of vaccine start developing severe disease and start needing to go on the ventilator or high oxygen flow, that is when we know that, okay, immunity is starting to now taper off and you probably need a booster shot. We will have to wait. There is no shortcut around that.
Okay. I think last two questions. My mother's, I think last two questions are there. My mother's age is 76, had cardiac arrest in November 2020. Can she take the vaccine?
Yes, now how is she now?
Okay.
So if she is comfortable and if she resume the normal life, she should take the vaccines.
Okay, okay. My mother is on warfarin. How many days prior to vaccination should her INR test be done?
See, INR test need to be done beforehand, 5 to 7 days back, because if the INR is high, we need to adjust the INR and keep the INR level at a certain level, at least below 1.5 for the at the time when the vaccines will be given. Then it will again raise to the required INR for which the patient is on warfarin. So it's better to check at least 7 days back. So if it is required to adjust the dose, then it can be done in between.
Okay, I would request everyone to stop posting more questions. I think we've covered more or less everything. This is the last two question. Is it true that employees in essential services can get the vaccine even if they are below 45 years? Dr. Roy, would you like to take this?
So frontline workers were eligible to receive the vaccine irrespective of age, but unfortunately that category has now closed in the COVID app. So they are no longer registering frontline workers for vaccine. So that is no longer possible to be, it's no longer vaccinated if you're a frontline worker. Possibly the government might reopen this category in the future, but as of right now, that category has closed.
And Neelam and Naresh Jalan want to know why more and more youngsters are getting COVID-19 this time around as compared to the first wave. Is this due to the mutation?
There are 2-3 reasons. The first reason is they are reckless. The second reason, they are mixing up with each other. They are not following any COVID protocols and they are not maintaining any distance. They are doing party. So they are doing everything possible for getting the COVID. And the second thing is the virus is now this time the new strain, which is actually more infected than the previous one. So whenever someone actually gets into the close space, spending a lot of time together, so they are getting infected from one. I know for the last party, 20 people get infected at the same party after the Dole party. So that is very important. So young people, they are going outside, they are now mixing up each other and they are getting the vaccine. It is happening everywhere. It's not happening in India. It is actually happening in USA. It actually has happened in UK as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you, Dr. Saha. Shantani Banerjee, I can answer your question. My daughter is a final year MBBS student. Registration open for her only if she's 45 plus. Right now, below 45 is not open. And Sheila, you're thanking Medica, and Medica thanks RC Aviana as well. And she thanks both the doctors for answering all the questions so patiently. And I think we have covered most of the questions, and we come to the end of the question answer session. I would, from the bottom of my heart, thank Dr. Saha and Dr. Roy for really answering the questions.
Yeah, there is another question which I am just interrupting you. There is another question which has not been answered yet. There is a question. I had taken Covishield. Can I take Covaxin as a second shot? No, please.
I think we had discussed this because that's why I didn't go to it.
Yeah, please do not take this one.
Please do not mix vaccines. That'll be really bad. We don't know what the repercussions could be.
You can't do it. The app will not let you. Means we just won't let you, because if you got Covishield, you try registering for another shot, the institution just won't let you. It's at least legally.
Right. So we come to the end of the program, and I thank the Rotary Club of Calcutta, Vienna, and all the other Rotarians for joining and making this evening very successful, very informative. And I thank the team that has worked to put this webinar together at Medica. So thank you, everybody. Good night, and keep healthy, keep safe, get vaccinated. This is Soma Bhan from Medica. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Abhishek.